The MultiVersus patch notes just came out for tomorrow. That's going to be on August 23rd, 2022. Going to be Season's 1.01 patch featuring Morty. Morty's coming out tomorrow, so very excited for that. I love that they're dropping these patch notes like the night before, so people can like read up on them before the actual drop of the character. Probably going to be out around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, as it normally is, like on Mondays or Tuesdays. It seems to be like the general ballpark. But let's go over the patch notes since Tony graced us with the drops. So first off, you know, Morty is coming out tomorrow. He's the first Plumbus-wielding character, Plumbus being that little device in Rick and Morty that allows him to do some wacky stuff. I literally know nothing about this character besides that he's a bruiser and that he's an expert. So we'll see if he's like super complicated or whatever. They did release a GIF of him just kind of crouching on one of the stages, so that's literally all we have for visual information from him. So excited for him to be able to play him. I'm shocked that Rick didn't come out first. So this is not going to affect local and lab play, which is very interesting. This is only server-based patch, minus Morty. Morty will be available on offline setting. But so all these patches will not be there while we're in the lab or while we are in offline. So that's kind of interesting to see. I guess I just want to try to fix some online thing. It looks like they touched up some perks, by the way. Ice to beat you, as well as I'll take that. Those are probably two of the most dominant perks in my opinion, besides like maybe triple jump being a fantastic perk for if you stack them together in 2v2 you get a 7-3 source essentially, but it's still pretty tame. These two though were kind of a problem, especially in certain comps. So Ice to beat you, this is a big nerf, and I can actually see this perk being taken off the meta a bit and opting to go for other debuffs, kind of like ignites, or just kind of depending on what the team wants to go for. If it's, you know, like a Velma or a Superman, I could see them wanting to keep you running Ice to beat you, but it's just the reason it got nerfed, right, is it only applies to fighters if they have no debuffs on them from Ice whatsoever. So you can't use it to keep stacking more and more Ice onto the opponents. You hit them once with it, it puts them at 1. And if you hit them again, it stays at 1. It might refresh it and go back to 0, but like only having 1 stack of Ice is not that big of a deal breaker anymore. So I'm kind of really happy by this change, because Ice to beat you is such a good perk. Having Ice debuff on the opponents and giving you the ability to outmaneuver people is very strong in a platform fighter. Meanwhile, we got I'll take that, which is a unstacked cooldown. So basically, if you hit an opponents that have a debuff on them, which is why these two work really well together, you get half a second or 1 second total if it's both players running it off of your cooldowns, which is a lot of time. That's really good, really good. So they just basically cut that in half. So now it's 0.25. It's quarter of a second for 1 stack and half a second for 2. So we'll see what the changes on there. I could see people still running that over like the likes of like CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla is kind of like the perk you just kind of run for the 10% off overall, just to, you know, if you don't got nothing better to put on, throw it on, and it helps you with cooldowns a little bit. Very generic. Fixed a bug where ability cooldowns may not trigger when projectiles respond close to terrain. I've definitely encountered that, so that's cool. Any bug fixes are good. Let's look at the characters. So first off, all of the assassins, this affects Arya, Finn, and Harley. For those that don't know, they had a passive on them that made them take 14% additional damage. Which is like the only like passive that exists in terms of rolls. It was kind of interesting. It's supposed to help balance them out because it's supposed to be like glass cannons. However, assassins are not really strong in the meta currently, so they're gonna be kind of like, I think they want to like remove it. If you read the notes here, they actually, this is supposed to be a step in the direction of them kind of just removing it altogether, but they don't want to do it too quickly, which I agree with. You don't want drastic changes when you make these small little buffs and nerfs, right? You want them to be small and gradual. You don't want game-breaking stuff to happen. In the last patch, Velma got nerfed a lot, but like it was still kind of minor, so she's still really good, especially doing teams with Iron Giant. They also don't want to create an assassin-dominated meta, right? Right now, we're still in the projectile meta, so having a support on your team is practically a must. Like usually Velma Iron Giant, Velma Superman, Velma Bugs Bunny, still really solid teams. The move list description is not going to be updated, so even though it's going to say 14% still in the notes, but that's not right. It's going to be 5%, so we'll see how that works out for them. Besides that, Harley and Arya were not changed whatsoever, but Finn got a couple of buffs. Since they removed some of the power from the backpack on Finn, they're pushing some additional power into the rest of the Finn's attacks to give him more kill options, because the backpack was literally Finn's saving grace for getting tons of ring outs, right? Harley got the up special. Arya's got the up special up air. Like, they both, all assassins have a way to get a ring out off the top of the screen very easily. Finn's got the backpack. So they removed the backpack, so Finn's ring out power was not as strong anymore. So they want to give him some more options. Base damage is increased by holding and charging the attack. So that's the high five. For those that don't know, high five, you don't really see too often at a high level play because it does have a little bit of wind up. Also, they want people to use BMO Chop a lot more. No one ever uses BMO Chop, so they're going to increase the knockback from that as well. But I think even with these buffs, honestly, I don't see top-level Finns using either of these moves, in my honest opinion. Because high five takes a while to wind up on, which can catch people off guard, right? Especially if it's charged, but we'll have to wait and see if it's worth going for or not. But the BMO Chop, definitely. I don't see anyone going for that. BMO currently costs 800 gold without any like additional unique perks to kind of make it a discount. And when you spend BMO, you lose it. So if you get BMO, you go over BMO Chop, and it whiffs, you just threw away 800 gold. You know? Meanwhile, if you use Backpack, you know, I guess actually that's been changed a little bit, so you can still get gold off of that. Whoops, my bad. But it's still a really good move. Throwing out a gem costs 100 coins. You can still use that. If you apply a buff, so the other two shop items, those are permanent no matter what. You can't miss it. So this is like the biggest purchase you can make that can miss. And that's a lot of gold you could use up for that. So we'll have to wait and see if that actually changes those Finn's minds, but I kind of doubt it, to be honest. Garnet, as well as Tasmanian Devil buffs are coming next patch. So excited for that. I know they got trying to workshop those characters. I think Garnet's a sleeper of a character. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Garnet. I think these buffs are going to turn her into like problem territory depending on what they do with her. But Taz desperately needs them. Taz has so much trouble practically just recovering. Honestly, I think Taz's neutral is okay. It could be better, but it's okay. You know, he racks up damage really easily. He's got a sick combo game if he manages to land that first attack in. Kind of slow. But the second he goes off stage, you know, he's got nothing going for him. He's got two very weak air dashes. And after that, what does he have? And two jumps. And after that, what does he do to get back, right? His specials don't really give him any sort of space whatsoever unless he goes for spin for horizontal recovery. And he has to have that off cooldown in order to do that. So that's already a problem. Meanwhile, his up special is supposed to be like, you know, in other characters, up special gives you a little bit of vertical height. But with Taz, you know, he goes into the dust cloud afterwards, so like he kind of just falls back down. So his recovery is something to be desired. So we'll have to wait and see what they do with Taz. I'm sure I trust player first games a lot to make their correct decisions. Iron Giants nerfs. Look at all these nerfs. Iron Giants kind of dominating the meta right now, especially with the zero the deaths that they got going with half of a grab. In 1v1s, it's really strong, but he's still really good in 2s, especially when teamed with Velma. Iron Giant is currently dominating with abnormally high win rates at every skill level. Abnormally high. I feel like Iron Giant's really difficult to balance, right? He's either going to be super duper broken or he's going to suck. I think it's really difficult to make Iron Giant like average or like not broke. Like, you know, I don't know. He's going to be very tough to fine tune just because of the nature of the character, right? Iron Giant's neutral special with stacked cooldown reduction and Velma are causing too few windows for opponents to counterplay. True. That was, I had to play out of my mind today to defeat one of those teams, and they weren't even that good. It was just the fact that they literally just stack gray health like crazy, right? They're both using the correct unique perks. If Velma picks up the bolts off the ground, she gets gray health as well as spikes. If Iron Giant picks up clues, he gets gray health. So they're running the gray health perk as well. Like, they're just spamming gray health on top of each other over and over. Like, that's why it's such a good team. So the nerfs are definitely coming into play because of Velma. Updates to Iron Giant, global updates to perks, and Velma updates should help provide more windows of opportunity for opponents against Iron Giant. So we'll see how that rocks. We'll have to look at Velma later on to see what that is. I actually don't know the Velma changes. Increases the cooldown from 23 seconds to 25. So those are the bolts, the invincibility. So adding an additional 2 seconds to make it so you can't just get the invincibility immediately. Not too big of a change. We'll have to wait and see how that works out. Air up attack. Hitboxes shrink to more accurately fit the attack visuals. There are times when Iron Giant is like, you know, throwing, or sorry, not that's his ground attack. His air attack, when he goes for the punch, flies upwards, you get caught behind them, and it's just like, where are you going? You know, it kind of catches them. So cool on the fix. I always appreciate hitbox fixes. Air and ground up special. That's his little cannonball. Recovery damage by 1 and base knockback on final hit of a spin. Reduce damage, my bad. So cool. It's going to do less damage and less knockback. That move literally rings out super duper early, so I understand. It's also active for a very long time. It's very deceiving. You try to go for a punish on it, right? Because if he lands on the ground and hits your teammates, because he's hitting your teammates, the hitbox is lasting an even longer time. So then it becomes kind of ambiguous on when you can go into approach. And if you try to get the punish too early, you get caught by the cannonball as well. So good to see a nerf on that, even though it's very minor. And then last but not least, the down special. Wait, I just messed myself up. Hold on a second. I mixed up the down special and the up special. Up special is the car move. I don't know why I thought that was down special. That's the car spin. So, yeah, okay. Car spin, doing less damage and less knockback. That's pretty good for getting rid of the 0 to deaths. Meanwhile, the down special, allow cancel out cannonball if it hits an enemy. So, wait. They can already do that. Right? Does that mean you can't do it anymore? Like, that move's already hella good. Are they making it so you can get out of there? Very intriguing. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with Iron Giants. Superman. Fixed a bug that allows Superman to grapple enemies that will bounce off of hitboxes. Did not connect. Cool. Bug fixes always appreciated. Guys, what's coming in. Last but not least, we got Velma. This is the last part of the patch, right? Her air and ground down special. So that's the educated move. That's the one that lowers cooldown for both you and your teammate. Very good move. It's reduced cooldown return from 75% over 8 seconds to 50% over 8 seconds, which I agree with. It was kind of ridiculous how good those cooldowns were. That was just such a good move, right? You throw out, what you do is you throw out the megaphone, you throw out the 3 word bubbles, you throw out the ice potion, you throw out the book, and then you rinse and repeat because the cooldowns are already back super fast, as long as your teammates keeping the enemies preoccupied. So overall, looks like a pretty solid patch. I know these 2 perks in particular are going to help a lot with the projectile meta. So we'll just have to wait and see. I know I saw Ajax talking on Twitter, so I had to mention it. I'll Take That's going to affect Batman a lot because Batman's Batarang with I'll Take That helps a lot with trying to like make the cooldown go as small as possible. So having a big hit to that's going to require Batman to try to look at other perks for trying to get the Batarang fast. Obviously, they could still use I'll Take That, just be less effective. They could use CopyZilla, they could use I dodge, we all dodge. Like, there's so many different opportunities to try to like remove the cooldown a little bit for him. Or just team with the Velma and get that book on you. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. It's going to be season 1.01 patch. My name's Austy. I stream on Twitch almost every day. Twitch.tv/AustyLaVista. You can catch my Wonder Woman gameplay as well as any other character on there that I play. I'm an official caster for MultiVersus, so if you want to see some future tournaments, I'll probably be the voice of like the big ones, right? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Make good choices.